My daughter was suffering from leukemia. I sold my blood and a kidney to save her, but my husband Marcus's sister-in-law Vanessa and her friends had me attacked by hunting dogs. They dragged me in front of him and humiliated me, calling me a home wrecker who was trying to seduce him. He had led me to believe he was struggling to make a living, yet he gave all his money to sister-in-law Vanessa and her daughter. My daughter and I were barely surviving on wild vegetables. Mommy, will Daddy save Lily? My daughter Lily leaned weakly against me. Though she was already 5 years old, the torment of her illness had left her weighing barely 20 pounds. I gripped my daughter's hand tightly, my gaze falling upon the enormous poster in the square. It was a promotional poster for Marcus, the billionaire magnate of Northwood City, announcing his donation of $100 million to children's charity. Beside stood a woman, and they held a girl between them, like a blissful family of 3. A sharp pang of pain pierced my heart. After stepped in to support his brother's family. He claimed I was too unwell just after giving birth to travel, and took sister-in-law Vanessa to the major business hubs to make their fortune. He was gone for 5 years. During those 5 years, though Marcus called once a month to check on my daughter and me, he never sent a single penny back home. Even when Lily contracted leukemia, I pleaded with him through tears to send some money home, but he always claimed business was tight, telling me to wait a little longer. I could wait, but my daughter's illness couldn't. I sold my blood and a kidney, but it still wasn't enough. It wasn't until someone from our village sent me a photograph. It was a picture of Marcus at the top of the Forbes list. Only then did I realize Marcus wasn't broke. He had given all his money to others, carrying my daughter. After walking for more than 10 kilometers, I finally saw the magnificent villa nestled halfway up the mountain. Hello, I'm looking for Marcus. I'm his wife. The security guard glanced at my patched clothes and kicked me to the ground. Where did this destitute woman come from? Daring to impersonate the billionaire magnate's wife? Should I let you reflect on your miserable appearance in a puddle of my piss? Why did you hit my mommy? Marcus is my daddy. Seeing me kicked down, Lily immediately tried to hit the security guard. But her small hand hadn't even reached him before he grabbed it, then twisted it forcefully, dislocating her hand bone. With you looking half dead, how dare you claim to be the billionaire magnate's daughter? Everyone in Northwood City knows Mr. Marcus's daughter is a little princess, showered with endless love and affection. Do you think a beggar like you can impersonate her? Mr. Marcus's daughter? I was about to ask, perplexed, but Lily's scream instantly pulled my thoughts back, ripping at my heart. You, a security guard, dare to treat the billionaire magnate's daughter like this? You must be out of your mind. If finds out, hell never let you get away with it. You didn't even verify it, and you're so sure I'm not Marcus's wife, denying that my daughter is Marcus's daughter. I clutched Lily tightly to my chest, my heart aching, and screamed hoarsely at the security guard. The security guard hesitated, seeing my fierce expression. Just as he was about to pull out his walkie-talkie, a sharp voice suddenly cut through the air. Any home wrecker dares to come and seduce the billionaire magnate now. Don't you know the billionaire magnate is devoted to his wife? Wife? I lifted my head, bewildered, only to see sister-in-law Vanessa, dripping in jewels, slowly approaching, flanked by several women. Sister-in-law Vanessa, it's Sarah. Can you please call Marcus for me? The security guard doesn't recognize me and won't let me in. Lily is sick, and she can't wait any longer. Clutching, I practically knelt at sister-in-law Vanessa's feet. The moment my hand touched Vanessa, she suddenly kicked out, her eyes full of disdain as she looked at me. Where did this destitute woman come from, falsely claiming kinship? I stared at Vanessa, my eyes wide with disbelief. My interactions with Vanessa hadn't been extensive, but she used to call me once a month, telling me about her and Marcus's struggles in the major business hubs, and had even expressed how much she owed me multiple times, promising to compensate me. Hearing say this, Vanessa's friends immediately yanked my hair. Where did this hussy come from, daring to show up at the billionaire magnate's doorstep to seduce him, and bringing along this half-dead unwanted burden? Have you no shame? As soon as she finished speaking, a stinging slap landed hard on my face, a burning pain flared across my cheek, and I glared at Vanessa with malice. Vanessa, back then, when you claimed it was hard for you as an orphan and a widow, and shamelessly insisted on going north with Marcus, what did you tell me? You said you were just Marcus's sister-in-law, and as an elder sister-in-law, like a mother, you'd help me keep an eye on Marcus. Is this how you kept an eye on him? By getting yourself into his bed, openly replacing me, his legitimate wife? Hearing my words, The women who had just been clamoring to defend Vanessa froze. Sister-in-law Vanessa. Vanessa's face went pale. Then she walked over and slapped me across the face. What nonsense are you spouting? Do you think people will believe your lies just because you say a few words? Then-in-law Vanessa turned to the others. You all know how Marcus treats Chloe and me besides. With Marcus's current status and position, if he really had a wife in his rural hometown, how could he let his wife and child become this destitute? Hearing's words, everyone nodded in agreement. That's true. Everyone in Northwood City knows Mr. Marcus is famous for being a man devoted to spoiling his wife and daughter. When Vanessa said she wanted a necklace, Mr. Marcus immediately flew to Paris that night to bid over $10 million for a diamond necklace. When mentioned she wanted to go to an amusement park, Mr. Marcus instantly invested $100 million to build a princess castle just for Chloe. If an ideal man like Mr. Marcus really had a wife and daughter in his rural hometown, how could they be in such a wretched state? I think this woman is just trying to seduce Mr. Marcus, deliberately showing up at the villa entrance to try her luck. An ideal man? Every word these people spoke felt like a knife piercing my heart. While he was spending tens of millions on a necklace for Vanessa, I was tearfully calling him, begging for $50,000 for Lily's chemotherapy. He told me then he was tight on cash, all his money was invested in the factory, and to wait a little longer, while he was spending $100 million building Chloe her princess castle. I collapsed on the street from exhaustion after selling my blood and a kidney to pay for chemotherapy. He told me the factory was losing money, and he was now in a mountain of debt. He asked me to wait for him, promising he would make a comeback. I let out a bitter laugh. So he wasn't broke. He had simply given all his money and love to others. Vanessa, twisting facts and manipulating the truth. Aren't you afraid you'll face retribution? Vanessa slowly crouched beside me, then forcefully pinched my chin and whispered into my ear. Marcus only cares about Chloe and me now. You and your ill-fated child are nothing but burdens in his eyes. Know what's good for you and leave, and I might just leave you a way out. I need to see Marcus. I need to hear it from him directly, otherwise, I won't leave. Lily is his daughter too. Lily is sick and needs money for treatment. As long as he pays for Lily's treatment, I won't fight for anything else. If what Vanessa said were true, then she wouldn't have kept me from seeing Marcus, and Marcus wouldn't have gone to such lengths to deceive me with a monthly phone call. There had to be more to this story. Vanessa glanced at a dying Lily and sneered. Aren't you just trying to win Marcus back with your half-dead daughter? Save your breath. Marcus is at Chloe's ribbon-cutting ceremony for her princess castle today. You bad woman. You're bullying my mommy. Seeing pinching my chin, Lily scrambled out of my arms and bit Vanessa's hand. Vanessa cried out in pain and immediately slapped Lily across the face. Little wretch, how dare you bite me? You must have a death wish. Lily's nose instantly streamed with blood. Seeing this, Vanessa's friends immediately forced my tiny daughter down, making her fall to her knees with a thud. Little wretch, hurry up and kneel and beg for forgiveness. I watched as Lily's entire face became smeared with blood. I desperately tried to rush forward but was held back by one person, while another tightly gripped my hair, forcing me to watch them abuse my poor daughter. The person holding Lily down slapped her face again, then stepped on her hand, grinding their foot down with force. Don't touch my daughter. I won't see Marcus. I don't want any money. I'll leave right away. I'll go back to my hometown now. I looked at Vanessa pleadingly. Before could speak, her friend directly grabbed the back of my neck. Sister, you can't be soft-hearted. A wretch like this, you should teach her a lesson, otherwise she'll keep trying to seduce Mr. Marcus in the future. We have to prevent future trouble. Vanessa stared at me with interest. So tell me, how should we teach her a lesson? I don't have experience with such matters. One of the women brutally ripped my patched clothes, exposing my rough back. Since she loves seducing men so much, let her seduce to her heart's content today. Didn't Mr. Marcus adopt a lot of stray dogs before? It's spring now, the perfect time for them to be in heat. Their gleeful words filled me with a dreadful premonition. Vanessa, let my daughter go. She's sick. If her bleeding doesn't stop, her body won't be able to take it. Lily had leukemia. Her blood clotting function was already failing. Once the bleeding started, it wouldn't stop, until she was completely drained. I cried hysterically, crawling on the ground like a dog, begging Vanessa for mercy. Vanessa looked at the blood continuously gushing from Lily's nose, and chuckled lightly. I've never seen anyone die from bleeding. Today is the ribbon-cutting ceremony for my daughter's princess castle, and your daughter's red blood is just like a flower, so auspicious." After she finished speaking, the group dragged my daughter and me towards a car. Just as I was sinking into despair, a familiar voice suddenly rang out, "What are you doing?" I looked up and saw Jake, who was from our village and had come out to make his fortune with Marcus. "Jake, save my daughter and me. Vanessa is impersonating Marcus's wife, and she's ordered these people to humiliate us. Please, can you find Marcus for me?" I cried out, my voice hoarse. Jake merely glanced at me, then averted his gaze. "Vanessa, what is this?" "These two shabby women, who knows where they came from, are impersonating Mr. Marcus's wife and daughter. We're taking them to the dog compound to teach them a lesson." Jake gave me a meaningful look, then nodded, and looked deferentially at Vanessa. "Mr. Marcus noticed you weren't at the ribbon-cutting ceremony. He was worried about you, so he sent me to see if something was holding you up." Vanessa giggled shyly, covering her mouth. "Marcus really is something. We've only been apart for a morning, and he's already looking for me so urgently." "Jake, don't you recognize me? I'm Sarah, Marcus's wife." I yelled sharply at Jake, but he acted as if he hadn't heard me. It seems this woman is truly insane. With that, Jake simply walked away, watching's retreating back. I felt as if I had plunged into an ice pit. My daughter and I were dragged to a dog compound in the suburbs. Inside the hundreds of square meters enclosure, fierce dogs barked and snarled, tearing at each other. I looked at Vanessa in horror. "I beg you, please let me go. I won't fight you for Marcus. I'll take Lily and disappear far away." Vanessa pulled her hand away from mine, then lifted my emaciated, skeletal daughter. "I hear these dogs are naturally fierce. They get excited when they see flesh." As spoke, she dragged Lily and me towards the fence. Behind us, the dogs barked excitedly without pause. I clutched Lily tightly, my entire body trembling. "No. Please. I was wrong. I truly know I was wrong. Just please, let my Lily go. I'll do anything you ask." I knelt on the ground, bowing my head repeatedly. "Oh, really? Then why don't you go in and get that hairpin for me? How about I let your daughter go then?" Vanessa threw her hairpin inside, and looked down at me smugly, her eyes brimming with unchecked excitement. I looked at Lily in my arms, and gritted my teeth. "Okay, I'll go get it. Lily." I lunged in like a madwoman, fighting against the dogs. All the dogs swarmed around me. I could distinctly feel their fangs tearing and stabbing at my body, but I felt no pain, only wanting to get the hairpin, pushing through the pack of dogs. "Mommy, I'm so scared." Suddenly, Lily's voice reached me. I turned to see Lily held high in the air. "Lily?" I screamed hysterically. "Let go of my daughter, you beasts." As soon as I finished speaking, Vanessa let go. I furiously tried to kick away the dogs blocking my way, but I couldn't get past them. A beast is a beast, fighting with dogs, born low-class trash. Vanessa's mocking laughter drifted from outside the enclosure, and her friends burst into laughter. "Let's make a bet. See if she can pick up the hairpin today. Starting bet is $100,000. I bet she won't get it. My bet is $1 million. I bet she will. My bet is $2 million. I bet she won't pick it up in there. My bet is $10 million. As soon as Vanessa finished speaking, the others immediately began to flatter her, as expected of the billionaire magnate's wife. How generous. A $10 million bet, just like that. Just then, footsteps approached from outside the dog compound. Marcus walked in, surrounded by several bodyguards. "What are you doing?" Marcus's low voice echoed, making everyone present involuntarily shiver. Vanessa's friends excitedly pointed at my dying daughter and me. "Mr. Marcus, this village woman came with her daughter, trying to seduce you. We were just helping sister get revenge." Marcus's brows furrowed. When his gaze fell upon my mangled and bleeding body, he suddenly widened his eyes. Lying on the ground, I was barely recognizable. Even in my arms was barely clinging to life. My mangled and bleeding hands were still clutching Lily tightly, though I had no more tears left to cry. "Is that a child?" Marcus's brow furrowed even deeper. A flicker of unbearable pain flashed in his eyes. "Marcus, this child kept kicking and hitting me, so they said they wanted to get revenge for me. If you're upset, I'll go apologize to them right now, okay?" Vanessa looked at Marcus aggrievedly, a hint of tears shimmering in her eyes. Marcus sighed and reached out to pull her into his embrace. "That's not what I meant. Since they offended you, just teach them a lesson. Why torture them like this? They bullied my mommy, they deserve to die. Being bitten to death by dogs is too light a punishment. They should be torn limb from limb and chopped into pieces to feed the dogs. Suddenly, a childish voice rang out. A girl in a pristine white princess dress walked in, then rushed into Vanessa's arms. Marcus looked at 8-year-old Chloe, his expression awkward. Chloe, you're only 8 years old. How can your thoughts be so malicious? Seeing angry, Vanessa quickly pulled Chloe into her embrace. Marcus, the child was just speaking without thinking. She doesn't even know what those words mean. Marcus sighed, then told his bodyguards to drive all the dogs away. They then dragged my daughter and me out. I'm not trying to lecture you, but the company just went public. If you cause a death now, what will happen to your reputation in Northwood City? Marcus's words felt like a knife plunging into my heart, so my daughter's life and mine were worth less than Vanessa's reputation in Marcus's eyes. Vanessa breathed a sigh of relief hearing Marcus say this, and clung to Marcus's arm, saying coaxingly, Marcus, I know you're doing this for my own good. Send them to the hospital, make sure they don't die. Once they're treated, give them some money and send them away. They can't appear in front of the media. Marcus finished instructing his assistant and was about to leave. I used all my strength to grab a hold of Marcus's pant leg. Marcus, it's me. But the sound I made was hoarse and low, like an old woman's voice. 70 or 80 years old. Marcus froze. Even stared at me, her face deathly pale. Marcus, I told you this woman was always trying to seduce you. She looks like this and still won't give up. Marcus's brows furrowed tightly, and his gaze on me was filled with disdain. Let go. I'll give you whatever money you want. With difficulty, I pointed to Lily in my arms. This is your. Before I could finish, Vanessa kicked me in the face. You're in this state and still thinking of seducing men. Marcus looked at Vanessa with some displeasure. Vanessa quickly explained, Marcus, your status is different now. So many people are after your money. I've been managing your assets these past few years. I probably know better than you what these people are thinking. Marcus looked at Vanessa, said nothing more, and turned to leave. Daddy, just then, the faint voice of my weak daughter in my arms spoke softly, her weak voice reaching Marcus's ears. Marcus's steps faltered. He spun around to look at Lily, who was beyond recognition. Her hand was so mangled she no longer had the strength to lift it. Blood-tinged tears streamed from her eyes. Marcus, I told you before, this woman brought a child and still tried to seduce you. She even made her daughter call you daddy. She has no shame. Marcus ignored her, his gaze fixed on the Lucky Charm bracelet on Lily's wrist. It was the only thing Marcus had given Lily when she was born. A Lucky Charm bracelet. Marcus, open your eyes and look closely. Who is standing before you? Marcus slowly walked towards us, disbelief in his eyes. Lily. Vanessa, her face deathly pale, grabbed Marcus's hand. Cold sweat beading on her forehead. Marcus, what kind of joke is this? Sarah is with Lily in the rural hometown, isn't she? How could she possibly be here? Besides, you send Lily hundreds of thousands of dollars every month. Lily wouldn't be so emaciated, would she? Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Why have I never received a single penny? Marcus looked at Lily and me gravely, then turned to look at Vanessa. Sister-in-law Vanessa, I asked you to check if Lily's illness was real. What did you find? Vanessa's gaze flickered, avoiding Marcus's scrutinizing eyes. Marcus, I already told you. Lily is fine, bouncing around playfully. Sarah just wants to get money from you, using the child as an excuse. Vanessa's words startled me. I never expected the truth to be like this. Marcus glanced at his phone. Sarah hasn't called in a month. Sister-in-law Vanessa, you were the one who told me to pretend to be poor to test Sarah's sincerity. Now, several years have passed. It's time I saw my daughter. Marcus pulled out his phone, about to call me. Vanessa quickly grabbed Marcus's hand that was holding the phone. Marcus, it's only been a few years. Look at all your assets. Sarah is a rural hometown woman. Bringing her here now wouldn't only fail to help your career, it would even embarrass you. Why don't you wait another 2 years? No sooner had she spoken than an abrupt ringing sound came from nearby. An old, basic phone was ringing incessantly in the middle of the dog compound. Marcus glanced at his own phone, which had just dialed a number, and quickly hung up. Immediately, the ringing of the phone in the middle of the compound also stopped abruptly. Sarah? That's Sarah's phone. Marcus frantically dashed to retrieve the phone. Vanessa was already trembling with fear. Marcus held the dilapidated old, basic phone. He looked at the contact name displayed on it. Then with bloodshot eyes, he looked at me. Barely standing. Sarah, is that you? Marcus stumbled towards me, Seeing that no part of my body was uninjured, he broke down crying. The women who had been clamoring to defend Vanessa finally realized what was happening. They desperately tried to distance themselves. "This has nothing to do with us." Vanessa said she was Mrs. Marcus, and that this woman was a wretch trying to seduce the billionaire magnate. "That's why we wanted to help her get revenge." Vanessa publicly claimed to be Mrs. Marcus. "That's why we misunderstood. Who knew she was actually your sister-in-law? She ordered us to do everything. She even made us bet with her to see how many dogs would die in the dog compound today." Marcus slowly raised his head, his eyes terrifyingly cold. "Vanessa, how dare you? I thought you were my elder brother's wife, struggling to raise a child alone, so I wanted to help you. Is this how you repay me?" Vanessa shook her head frantically like a rattle drum. "It's not like that, Marcus. I just didn't recognize Sarah at first. You know I haven't seen Sarah in 5 years. It's her fault for dressing like a destitute woman. You can't blame me for not recognizing her." Vanessa looked at Marcus with tearful, aggrieved eyes. Marcus didn't even spare her a glance, instead turning to look at Lily in my arms. "Lily, Daddy's here. Don't fall asleep. Daddy will take you to the hospital right away." Marcus tried to take Lily from my arms, but realized my clothes had stuck to Lily's mangled flesh. If he pulled her away, it would tear her wounds. "Ambulance. To the hospital now." Marcus rushed out, carrying Lily and me. Before leaving, he didn't forget to fiercely instruct his bodyguards, "Guard these people. I will make them pay for this with blood." At the hospital, the doctors were unable to separate Lily and me right away. I shouted at the doctor without hesitation, "Cut off my flesh. I don't care. Just save my daughter first. I'm begging you, save her." Seeing the urgency of the situation, the doctor no longer hesitated. He took a scalpel and cut into my chest. My hoarse, desperate screams echoed throughout the operating room. Even couldn't help but well up with tears. "Sarah, I'm so sorry for what I've done to you and Lily." I looked at Marcus with hatred. "I will make you pay 100 times over for the suffering we endured today." Marcus stumbled, nearly falling to the ground. My injuries were also severe. The doctors wanted to take me to another operating room for emergency treatment, but I refused to go. I had only one thought in my mind. I needed to see my daughter safe and sound. My eyes were fixed on the illuminated red light. Not until the operating room door was pushed open, and a doctor in surgical scrubs emerged, looking at Marcus and me with a face full of apologies. "I'm truly sorry. Your child already suffered from severe leukemia, and now she's been so severely mauled by dogs. There's nothing more we can do." Those words plunged me into an abyss of despair. Marcus fell to his knees with a thud, staring at me blankly. "So you weren't lying to me? Lily really had leukemia?" Unable to bear the shock, I fainted right at the operating room door. The doctors worked to save me for over 10 hours, barely pulling me back from the grasp of death. As soon as I was wheeled out of the operating room, the doctor looked apologetically at Marcus. "Mr. Marcus, your wife, due to the loss of a kidney, long-term malnutrition, and inhumane torture she endured. Whether she wakes up is entirely up to her." Marcus froze completely. "Missing a kidney? Why didn't I know anything about this?" After I was admitted to the ICU, Marcus immediately instructed his assistant to investigate my daughters and my past. "Mrs. Marcus sold her blood and a kidney because she had no money to pay for your daughter's medical treatment." As the assistant recounted my daughters and my experiences, he couldn't help but get teary-eyed. "No money? How could there be no money? I clearly sent hundreds of thousands of dollars back every month. How could they be so poor they had to sell their blood and a kidney?" "All your money these past few years was managed by Vanessa. She also handled all the money sent back to Mrs. Marcus. I just checked Mrs. Marcus's transaction records. Vanessa hasn't sent a single penny to Mrs. Marcus in 5 years. Marcus couldn't listen anymore. He sank to the ground, burying his face in his hands and sobbing uncontrollably. "I'm so sorry, Sarah. I'm so sorry, my daughter." Sarah clearly asked me for money repeatedly, time and again, but I always thought she was lying. So I kept making excuses over and over. "This is all Vanessa's fault. She must pay with her life for Lily." With that, Marcus scrambled to his feet and ran out. Marcus drove, running over a dozen red lights, until he reached the suburbs, arriving at the dog compound where Lily and I had been attacked. Even before he got close, he heard intermittent screams coming from inside. Marcus walked inside the dog compound. Several mangled and bleeding people were running desperately, dodging the bites of fierce dogs. The entire area was stained red with blood. "Mr. Marcus, please spare us. We were all deceived by Vanessa. She pretended to be Mrs. Marcus. That's why we fell for her tricks, we're innocent. Marcus watched as those people knelt on the ground, repeatedly begging for forgiveness. His eyes showed no trace of softening. You made my Lily endure inhumane torture, and she died with unbearable suffering. I was so young. She was only 5 years old, and I, her father, hadn't even truly held her yet. This is all your fault, you wretches. I will make you pay for this with blood. No, Mr. Marcus. We were all acting under Vanessa's orders. She personally said she didn't know your wife or child, and it was she who said they needed to be taught a lesson. The group ignored the festering dog bites on their bodies and continued to beg for mercy. Marcus walked to a nearby warehouse, opened the door, and dragged Vanessa, who was cowering in the corner, out. Didn't you say Vanessa was the one who ordered this? Then go settle the score with Vanessa properly. As spoke, he tried to push Vanessa into the dog compound. Vanessa desperately clung to the door handle. Marcus, I'm your sister-in-law. Even if you won't give me any respect, you should at least show some respect to your deceased brother. If your brother hadn't saved you back then, I wouldn't have lost my husband, and none of this would have happened. At the mention of his brother, Marcus visibly faltered. Vanessa thought her tactic was working, just as she was about to continue her act of feigned suffering. The dog compound's main gate was forcefully pushed open, and an assistant rushed in. Mr. Marcus, I just found out there might be more to your brother's death. Marcus, who was gripping Vanessa's hand, froze. Vanessa quickly squatted down, trembling uncontrollably. Is my brother's death related to you? Vanessa shook her head frantically. No, it has nothing to do with me. He was hit by a car because he was saving you. You promised your brother you'd take care of Chloe and me. Vanessa sobbed brokenly. Mr. Marcus, I just found out that Vanessa and Jake, from your village, have a close relationship. The assistant handed him a file. Marcus opened it to reveal a paternity test report inside. According to the report, Chloe is actually Jake's daughter. For all these years, Vanessa has been secretly involved in an affair with Jake. Even that car accident back then was orchestrated by Vanessa and Jake. The assistant's words instantly ignited Marcus's fury. He stomped his foot on Vanessa, who was trying to escape. Wretch, you've been deceiving me all this time. No, I haven't. This is all a slander. Chloe is your brother's daughter. This report must be fake. Marcus immediately slapped Vanessa hard across the face. Even now, you're still lying. For all these years, you secretly withheld the living expenses I sent for Sarah and Lily. You even encouraged me not to treat a sick Lily, constantly manipulating me into believing Sarah only wanted my money. Do you know what kind of life they endured? Sarah had to sell her blood and a kidney just to afford one round of chemotherapy for Lily. Marcus's slaps rained down on Vanessa's face, one after another. Vanessa's entire face was swollen, her original features barely recognizable. Marcus, I'm begging you, please let me go just this once. Don't you like me anyway? Otherwise, you wouldn't have been so devoted to me, right? Now that Sarah is disfigured, she won't be able to serve you anymore. Why can't we be together? Can't we go back to how things were before? Vanessa knelt on the ground, clinging desperately to Marcus's pant leg like a dog. Marcus looked down at her. He slowly crouched down, then forcefully grabbed Vanessa's throat. Be with me. Look in a mirror. Do you think you're worthy? Marcus spat on Vanessa's face, then dragged her to the entrance of the dog compound. I'm going to make you experience all the pain Sarah and Lily suffered. With that, Marcus grabbed Vanessa and shoved her inside. The frantic dogs instantly swarmed around her, as if they'd spotted fresh meat. No, Marcus, I was wrong. I truly know I was wrong. Please, spare me. I promise you, if you spare me this time, I will never appear before you again. Marcus watched the scene of Vanessa fighting the fierce dogs and sneered. Your punishment has only just begun. As voice faded, the dog compound's gate was pushed open once more, and Jake walked in, carrying Chloe. Throw both of them in there. No, Chloe is still so young. Vanessa's heart-wrenching screams, along with various other shrieks of agony, resounded endlessly throughout the dog compound. Jake, I'll give you a chance. Die here with Vanessa and Chloe, or take the money and leave, pretending you never saw any of this happen. I choose the money. Jake barely hesitated. Jake, I'm like this because of you. How can you abandon Chloe and me? Don't forget, Chloe is your own daughter. Vanessa stared at Jake in disbelief, trembling with rage. Vanessa, who do you think you are? You're disfigured now. Even if you get out of here, you'll be half crippled. As for Chloe, she's just a girl. Raising her will just be a waste of money. I'm still young. I can have as many children as I want later." Jake scrambled to his feet, picked up the bag Marcus had thrown on the ground, and turned to leave. Vanessa, driven by a furious resolve, got back to her feet. "Jake, you're the one who made me like this. If I can't have a good life, neither can you. Go to hell." As she spoke, Vanessa picked up a knife that had appeared on the ground and viciously stabbed Jake. Jake instantly gushed blood from his mouth and collapsed to the ground. The moment Vanessa saw Jake close his eyes, she burst into insane laughter. "If I'm not going to have a good life, none of you will either. Die, all of you." Vanessa lunged with a knife at Marcus, but in the next second, a bodyguard standing nearby tackled her to the ground. Marcus savagely stomped on and ground Vanessa's hand under his foot, then turned his head to look at Chloe. "Are you going to leave this place with your murderer of a mother and live life on the run, or stay by my side?" "No, Chloe. I'm your real mother. Marcus is lying to you. He won't take you in." Vanessa struggled desperately, screaming at Chloe, her face contorted in a grotesque snarl. Chloe crawled step by step towards Marcus and tugged on his pant leg. "I don't want to go with this woman. I want to stay with Marcus and live like a little princess forever. You can't give me anything if I go with you." Vanessa froze completely in place. She hadn't expected even her own biological daughter to abandon her for personal gain. Vanessa burst into maniacal laughter. Her wounds gushed fresh blood with every convulsion, a horrifying sight. The dog compound caught fire. 7 bodies were found inside. And the arsonist turned out to be a child. Sarah woke up after sleeping for a week in the hospital, feeling nothing when she heard the news. "Sarah, you're awake?" Marcus pushed the door open and came in, holding a bouquet of flowers. Sarah raised her eyes to the familiar yet estranged man, then coldly looked away. Marcus gently held her hand. "Sarah, I've made sure they've all paid the price they deserved. No one will ever be able to bully you again." Sarah immediately pulled her hand away from his, "But one person hasn't been punished yet." Marcus involuntarily took a step back, meeting her terrifying gaze. "Marcus, in the dead of night, do you hear Lily calling for her dad?" Marcus collapsed onto the floor, muttering incessantly, "It wasn't me. I don't know anything. I already avenged Lily. Vanessa and the others have received their deserved punishment." Sarah scoffed at Marcus's appearance. "Marcus, how can you be so hypocritical? If you hadn't insisted on bringing Vanessa and her daughter to Northwood City, if you hadn't indulged Vanessa in her oppression of us, if you had only cared a little more about Lily and me, you wouldn't have failed to visit us once in 5 years. Do you dare say you never had feelings for Vanessa? Do you dare say you were completely unaware of what Vanessa did? You were just pretending, because deep down, you also thought Lily and I living in the rural hometown was a disgrace to you, the billionaire magnate." Sarah's words, which cut him to the core, left Marcus no room to retort. He could only incessantly grip her hand and apologize. "Sarah, I was wrong. I'll spend the rest of my life atoning to you and Lily. No matter what you become, I'll be good to you for the rest of my life and only love you." Sarah slowly gripped Marcus's chin. "You'd better remember what you said today," after her body had mostly healed. Sarah followed Marcus back to the splendid villa, a place where she and Lily once couldn't even get past the entrance on their knees. Inside this villa, even a single bathroom was larger than the entire house Sarah and Lily used to live in. The master bedroom on the 2nd floor was still piled with Vanessa's belongings. Marcus immediately barked at the servants to clear them out. That night, as Marcus lay on her bed, ready for sleep, Sarah thoughtfully prepared warm milk for him. Marcus, flattered and surprised, drank the milk without any suspicion. Deep in the night, lightning flashed and thunder roared outside the window. Inside, Marcus lay asleep on the bed. Cold sweat continuously beaded on his forehead, and his hands thrashed ceaselessly. "I was wrong, Lily. Daddy knows he was wrong. Please don't leave, Lily, please." "Ah!" A startled cry rang out as Marcus shot up from the bed. He turned his head and met her face, disfigured by dog bites. "Ah!" Another scream, and Marcus could no longer control his emotions, fainting on the spot for several days in a row. Marcus was plagued by nightmares, and his physical condition deteriorated, reaching the point where he dared not leave the house. With the continuous rainy season recently, fine rain fell continuously, and Marcus's condition worsened. He locked himself in his room, daring not to see anyone, or even face the light. Sarah slowly pushed the door open and walked in, carrying a glass of milk. "You haven't eaten anything all day. Your body won't be able to take it. Drink some milk." Marcus felt a slight sense of relief when he saw Sarah. He took the milk and gulped it down. No sooner had he drunk the milk than Marcus began to scream frantically, as if possessed. "It wasn't me. Please, I beg you to forgive me. I was wrong. I truly know I was wrong." Marcus trembled uncontrollably, as if he'd seen something terrifying. "What will it take for you to forgive me?" Sarah slowly leaned close to Marcus's ear and whispered, "Unless you die." No sooner had the words left her lips than Marcus slowly stood up and walked towards the window without hesitation. In the next second, Marcus opened the window and, in an instant, jumped. Marcus was dead, having died by suicide by jumping from a building, triggered by hallucinations caused by sleepwalking. Since was Marcus's primary heir, all of his assets passed to her after his death. She sold the villa for cheap, liquidated the company, and after converting all assets into liquid cash, she immigrated. As she pulled her luggage and prepared to board her flight, Sarah unhesitatingly tossed the bottle of sleeping pills clenched in her palm into a trash can.